Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For a radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, tuning in through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, we're glad you all could be with us as well. I have the honor and the pleasure today of welcoming legendary guitarist Steve Hackett to our broadcast. He's celebrating a big 2023, not only with launching a new tour October the 3rd, but also celebrating a new project as well, called FOXTROT at 50 and Hackett Highlights live in Brighton. We're going to talk to Steve not only about his amazing career, but what it's been like for him to share this live music, and of course what he's looking forward to when it comes to the tour. We will let you all know how you can stay connected with the tour as well. Steve, thank you again for stopping by today. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Cyrus. Very nice to talk to you.
Well, this is a very big year, as I said, for you going into 2024. I want to talk about, though, the response to your journey, because people have really, of course, when it comes to, when I was prepping for this segment, when they were talking about FOXTROT at 50 and Hackett Highlights, is just the impact you've been able to have on music. What has that been like for you to share that impact with the world?
You know, it's a funny thing. I always have this feeling that I'm starting out and that no one's ever heard of me. And I'm always surprised when people say, "Oh, I grew up listening to this, or I took up playing guitar because of you, or learning to play drums because of Phil Collins." And you don't realize really the impact that things have. But it's being inured to the passing of time. If you're always working on something new, and I'm usually recording something new to run concurrently with tours, it kind of takes my mind or my eye off the ball, and I forget just how many albums there have been. And I think there was a friend of mine who said achievement seems so little in retrospect, but then when I look back at when FOXTROT was first released and Selling England by the Pound from 1972 and 73 respectively, it's from an era when John Lennon gave an interview and said that he thought that Genesis were true sons of the Beatles. And I'm so proud of that. For anyone who dismisses the early era of the band, I say, well, no, yeah, that was pre-MTV approved and music from a pre-video era, but then in the same way that we lived the songs of the Beatles, and it all just seemed to be so weird and wonderful and yet cohesive. I think we took our lead from them, and that's why Genesis was a band full of aspiring songwriters that had yet to prove themselves.
Right. Steve, you bring up an interesting point. You're right when it comes to thinking about FOXTROT and when it was released and the impact of Genesis. But it's so interesting then with this new project, with FOXTROT at 50 and Hackett Highlights, you're able to marry, of course, us being able to enjoy the live performance as well as, of course, video. What has that been like for you to embrace the way we enjoy music has changed, but also the way we get to know artists like yourself has changed too?
Well, yes, it's social media has changed everything. And then, of course, if you officialize something and you film a show, we tend to record most of the shows, so there's always audio of it available to do something like that with. But when it's filmed, as it was in Brighton, it happened to be a great night, and something else starts to happen. So that album, or rather the DVD, the film, the performance, the whole thing has gone to number 2 in the rock charts in the UK, which is kind of amazing for material that is by no means young. It's 51 years now, of course, on constant COVID catch-up since all of that. So centenaries have to be a little bit flexible when I'm trying to do music 50 years after the event, and of course next year it'll be Lamb Lies Down on Broadway's turn to be celebrated. So I'll do some highlights from that as well. But I try and mix it. I try and have solo stuff in there as well. I think it's important to do new music as well as old favourites, Genesis, and old favourites of mine. So I like to keep it coming, and I'm recording at the moment. Just finished a new studio album. I can barely keep up with myself. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how we do it really, but we do.
And then, Steve, of course, the tours. I mentioned kicking off on October the 3rd. I mean, touring is something that you've become known for. Is it because of the love of the live performance, or is it the love of the engagement with the audience?
It's a funny thing, you know. You're in rehearsal, you try and get the stuff in your brain, you wrestle with it, you hate yourself for getting it wrong, and then finally you start to get it right, and you're out there playing it in front of people, and when there's that feedback, you realize why you put yourself through, jumping through those hoops. It's the joy of the crowd. Once the crowd are joyful, that's what it's all about for me. It's not so much did I play a great gig tonight or not. It's all about, well, they liked it. You know, that's the deal. And I think any band on stage, when they're really doing it, they don't really know when they're doing it. They don't, you know, you try and cover yourself for the things that might go wrong, but you never really know when it's absolutely fantastic up front. You can't be in two places at once. You can't be out front and on stage at the same time. So it's the price of admission. There's no immaculate conception with this.
And that's why, of course, people keep turning up and keep enjoying the music, as I know they will with the new project. Again, everyone, Steve Hackett is our guest. FOXTROT at 50 and Hackett Highlights gives you, of course, not only, of course, those beloved hits from the Genesis album FOXTROT, but also, of course, some of those solo material as well from Hackett. And then, of course, as I mentioned, there is the tour as well. You guys can go to HackettSongs.com for all the details. Again, that's HackettSongs.com. We'll make sure that we link that up for our audience as well. Steve, thank you again for stopping by today. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely lovely talking to you. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you, Steve. Appreciate it. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. As always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Then let's go make today amazing. Take care.